Okay guys, in this video we're going to be looking at software. Now software is the fourth and final thing that you're going to need to get started with green screen and make your green screen videos, and it comes on a really broad spectrum. It starts right down at free editing software, and it comes right up to very expensive, very complicated software. So depending on how much money you've got to spend and how technically savvy you are will depend on which is the right software for you. So I'll give you an overview and you can decide then which fits you the best, okay? And at the end of this video, I'll give you a quick demo of actually doing the green screen effect, or otherwise known as the chroma key effect, or pulling a key, okay? So pulling a key is when you remove that background, okay? So I'll show you how to do that. And there is just one other thing I just want to briefly touch on, and that is using an iPhone, because you can record live green screen on an iPhone if you have the old version of Filmic Pro. So if you're lucky enough to have that old version, that will do live green screen. And I do know the guys at Filmic Pro, and they're bringing back the feature in the next edition of that due to popular demand, okay? But really, you know, you're very limited to what you can do and how you can edit, okay? So if you're shooting using the old version of Filmic Pro, then you've just got to get it right in one shot, okay? Because you can't sort of edit and move yourself around and stuff like that, okay? So I just wanted to mention that. But you know, I recommend using desktop software because it's going to give you that most flexibility, okay? So let's go ahead, let's take a look at the different softwares and let's have a demo. Okay guys, so the first video editor we're going to look at is the free video editor, which is the VSDC editor, okay? Now, this editor, I'd just like to point out, I'm just highlighting this, and this really is a last resort, okay? It's a free editor, and I've used it, I've downloaded it, but I have heard that people pick up viruses and spyware and stuff like that, okay? So I highly recommend, I will put a link to the link what I use to download it. These guys will try and get you to download a load of other stuff with it as well, okay? So if you do download it, please be very careful what you sort of check and uncheck for this editor, okay? Because like I say, it is, you know, a very much a last resort, okay? So that is your free option, which is the VSDC. I don't have it on my computer at the moment because I've just recently reinstalled Windows, and I'm not going to download it now because I don't want to get any spyware, okay? So I just want to show you that this is the free option if you've got absolutely no other way of getting any green screen software. So the first one I really want to recommend is Camtasia, and Camtasia, I will give you a demo at the end of this video, but Camtasia is very easy to use and really good enough for most people. If you're just sort of starting out in green screen, then it's absolutely the perfect place to start. And you can get a trial as well, 1 month trial with all the features, and just come to the Camtasia website and download their free trial, okay? So it's my favorite one to use, and you know, it's the one that I really would recommend if you're just starting out and you don't really know, you know, too much about, you know, video and editing and stuff like that. If you're a seasoned pro, then Camtasia may be a little bit basic for you, but I would just download the trial, and you know, see how you get on with the trial first, because it's not going to cost you anything to get the trial. Next one is Sony Vegas, okay, which is a little bit more complicated and a little bit more difficult to use, but still very good and still sort of reasonably simple. Once again, if you visit the Sony Vegas or the Sony software website, you'll be able to come up to downloads and get a trial and demo, okay? So Sony do a lot of different software, and you want to get this one here, the Pro Suite, okay? And then just test that out, see how you feel with it. You know, it's like I say, it's worth getting a trial. It's a little bit more complicated to use, but it's still, you know, relatively easy, and it works very well for green screen. Okay, so next up we've got Adobe After Effects. Now, if you choose to go with Adobe, you will need a powerful computer for rendering. It's a huge program and you will need to be technically savvy. Okay, so this really is on the pro level now. Once again, you can have a trial, and there's two ways that you can get Adobe. You can pay a monthly charge and you can just use Adobe off of the cloud. And you get access to all of their pieces of software like Dreamweaver and stuff like that, or you can just buy the Adobe After Effects on its own. Okay, so start the trial if you want to, but like I say, you'll definitely need to know what you're doing, and you will need a pretty powerful computer to run this software as well. Okay, the next one is Red Giant Keying Suite 11, and this really is full pro, one of the top programs you can use, or the top pieces of software you can use. It's $799. Once again, they do a trial. I can't really advise you on what exactly it's like to use because I haven't used it myself, but I do know some really professional guys that have used it and have recommended it to me. So if you want to go the full shebang, then Red Giant is the one to use. Perhaps download a trial. Perhaps I should download a trial myself and give it a little test one day. But that's really the golden goose of green screen. Okay guys, so here we are in Camtasia, and first of all, if you're unfamiliar with Camtasia, if you haven't used it before, there's three main areas. The first main area is the bit at the top left here, which is called the clip bin, and this is where all your media is that you want to use for your video. Okay, so you need to bring in your media by clicking import media, and then you browse your computer, you select open, and any media will go in here. Okay, so you can use audio, you can use video, you can use pictures, or there is the part where I just recorded the screen where I was talking about the software. Okay, so you'll have screen recordings too, and to record the screen you just hit record the screen up there. Okay, the second main area here is called your canvas, and this is a live preview area, and you can also grab things and move things around and resize stuff as well. The third main area at the bottom here is your timeline, and this shows you sort of in sequence how your video is going to play, and it's here that you can cut stuff and make transitions and stuff like that. Okay, so I've brought in the video that I recorded for the start of this video that you would have already seen, and the reason you can see I've got two separate parts to this video is because this top part is the audio and the bottom part is the video, because I record my audio on a lapel microphone separately, and then I line the audio up so that I get better quality sound. Okay, so that's just the fundamental basics, just so you kind of know sort of where I'm headed and what I'm doing. So you will have a video very similar to the video you can see now on the screen, and you can resize as well, so that you can kind of, if you just grab the edges here, you can just resize stuff as well. Depending on what you're doing, you might want to move it around. I'm sort of always moving the stuff around as I'm editing videos. So to do the chroma key effect, and like I say, Camtasia is probably the easiest to do this in, and I'll show you how easy it is now. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that our video is selected, okay, because you might have a lot of different video clips on your timeline. You may only want to remove the green in one certain clip. Okay, so you can either touch, or you can either click on the timeline on the piece of media that you want to edit, or if I just highlight that MP3 file, I can click on the canvas as well, and I know that's selected because it's turned blue on the timeline, and the corner points here are little circles as well. Okay, so I've selected the piece of media that I want to edit, which is our green screen video, and I'm going to come to more here, and then I'm going to go to visual properties, and then I'm just going to scroll down here to where it says remove a color. Okay, I'm going to check that box, and then where this color palette is here, if I click that, you'll see this little dropper tool here with select color, okay? And then we're going to come across to our canvas, and as you can see, as I move my dropper around, you'll see those numbers changing, which are basically the shade of green. Now what Camtasia will do is when I click on the green area there, it will remove every pixel that is that color, okay? So it may take you a couple of attempts, okay, because your green screen, and this is where, you know, the lighting comes in and getting your green screen an even color comes in, okay? So you want to just drop the tool somewhere. I usually find that it works pretty well somewhere close to my body, so I'm going to drop it there, and you can see that there is green around the edge of my body, okay? So this is called a halo. Now sometimes you may drop it on there, and as I don't know if you can see that, but at the top of my head here you can see like a fuzziness as well, okay? So sometimes you drop it on there and the first drop on there looks absolutely terrible, and if that happens, just come over here, press undo, and give it another shot somewhere else on the screen. So we'll try it there, and that's even worse. You see, you can see I've got a lot of the green coming through up there, so I'm going to undo that again, select the palette, select the color, the dropper tool, and see, there we go. That's a classic example of an absolutely appalling one. And this is where, you know, the lighting comes in, like I say, on your green screen, okay? But I'm not too worried about this. It's not that bad. So I'm just going to keep giving it a couple of goes until I can get it the best I can. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, so we can see we've got the line around. So what I'm going to do is come across to these slider bars, and first of all I'm going to hit the tolerance, and I'm going to tweak that up until it's more or less gone. Okay, so that's on 20 there. I'm just going to remember that. So I'm going to jam it right up, so you can see the higher it goes, eventually you'll just lose everything, okay? So, you know, there's a fine line, okay? You want to get rid of as much sort of the bad green screen removal as you can, but without actually losing, you know, the quality of yourself or your subject, okay? So the next one I'm going to do, you can see the edges are a little bit kind of almost jaggedy as well, okay? So I'm going to come across and I'm going to bring up this softness. This softness, you don't have to do it much. That's probably about there. Okay, so now we have what looks to be black where the green was, okay? So what I'm going to do, just to show you as it is, I'm going to come across and I'm going to grab a picture. If I can find it. I'm going to come up with pictures, and we'll grab this office picture here. Now, I'm now going to put the background behind myself, okay? So if you're not familiar with video editing software, on your timeline here, when you put a picture on, firstly, you can drag the length of time the picture shows, okay? So the longer it is, the more time that it will show for in your video, okay? So right now, that's on top. On the timeline, it's on top, which means on the canvas, it's also on top, okay? So when you want to put a background in, you always need to put it in behind your green screen recording, and then it will be behind on the canvas and behind yourself, okay? So as you can see now, we've dropped that in behind, and we've got you know, a nice office scene there behind myself. But we've also got all this, you know, the walls of my studio are showing as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to crop that image, and I'm just going to grab on this picture and just slide it out the way here. And then I'm going to select the picture by tapping on the canvas, and here we can see the points of the canvas are little circles, okay? So if I grab one of those circles and pull it in or pull it out, that will resize the entire image. And if I come up to the top here and press that top toggle crop mode, then the points of the corners have now turned square, which means now when I grab it, it's actually going to crop the entire video clip. Okay, and I'm just going to crop out all the rubbish. Okay, so there we go, that's cropped, and now the whole thing just looks black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back down, I'm going to grab my office image, I'm going to pop that behind myself, and the corners are squares, so I'm going to flick that back to resize, and I'm going to grab the corner, and I'm going to grab the corner there. Okay, so we now have an office background, and I'm now going to select myself, and I'm going to resize myself so that I look like quite a realistic height, you know, and I'm just doing this by judging what's around in the office, and that looks pretty realistic there. So let's just have a quick play of that and let's see what it's like.
Screen effect, or otherwise known as the chroma key effect, or pulling a key. Okay, so pulling a key is when you remove that back.
Okay, and I can see on my jumper there is a little bit speckly, so I've gone a little bit too much on the settings. So I'm going to come back to visual properties, and I'm going to ensure that I'm selected. This video clip here is selected, which is on top of the canvas. I'm just going to tweak down a bit on the tolerance, and I'm going to zoom in to make sure that looks perfectly fine. So let's just have another play of it.
Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. And there is just one other thing I just want to briefly touch on, and that is using an iPhone, because you can...
Okay, so there we go. That is putting a still image behind yourself using green screen. So one other thing we can do as well is we can put video footage, and if I just come back across, and let's come here to audio blocks, I should have some video clips here. So let's take this one. Okay, so I brought my video clip into the clip bin, which means it's ready to be used in the movie, and I'm going to come down to this one, and I'm going to hit those little scissors, and that's going to remove that picture that we first put in, and then I'm going to grab our video footage and I'm going to bring it down onto the timeline. And this is only a very short clip, so let's just pop it there where the playhead is, and let's have a look, and we can see I look like a giant because all the other people are tiny. So I'm going to make sure the corners are circular, and I'm going to resize myself, and I think what I'll do is actually make this video a bit bigger as well. And I'm just going to put it down a little bit, put it this way. There we go. So you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but my legs are here. I can actually see those, but that is off the screen. Okay, so we haven't got to worry about that. Anything that's within this box here is what's going to be seen. So you can move yourself around, big, small. Okay, so let's just have a little quick look what that looks like.
Can record live green screen on an iPhone if you have the old version of Filmic Pro. So if you're lucky enough to have that old version, that will do live.
Okay, so that's just a little bit glitchy because you know, my computer's having trouble sort of handling the power a little bit there. But once that renders out, that'll be absolutely just fine. And if your computer is more powerful than mine, then your computer will handle it very well. So I'm just going to delete that again. And this time I'm going to bring in a virtual studio. Okay, so this virtual studio again is a video, and I'm going to bring this down, and you would have seen this virtual studio in the very first video. And once again I shall resize myself. Okay, so I could be here if we use the rule of thirds. Let's just zoom in a bit.
Bringing back the feature in the next edition of that due to popular demand. Okay, but really, you know, you're very limited to what you can do and how you can edit. Okay, so if you're shooting using the old version of Filmic Pro.
Okay guys, so there we go. That is, you know, fundamentally how easy it is to do green screen. And, you know, if we just take a flick back, if I just bring this in, you know, if you remember, this is where I'm actually standing. Okay, so the benefits are, you know, if you don't have a studio or whatever, the benefits are huge because you're only limited by your own imagination. You know, and the kind of videos that you can produce, you know, in your own house, you know, are just limitless, really. And it's, you know, dead simple to do, dead easy to do, and it gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of movement. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the videos, and I hope you have good fun doing your own green screen videos, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.